Hello, Aquarius. I'm Poetic Heretic, and this is your February 2020 tarot forecast. I'll be giving you a Celtic Cross reading for the month of February 2020 to see what insight, advice, and other information we can gain for the month ahead. Sorry that this one's a little bit late, but I was feeling not so well, and I had to take a break, and so these last couple of signs unfortunately got delayed longer than I wanted. But I am here now, and we are ready to do this reading. So we would like a Celtic Cross reading for all Aquarius people, sun, rising, and moon, for the month of February 2020. Let us see what we get. What will be the energy for Aquarius in the month of February 2020? By the way, I'm recording this, or filming this, broadcasting this, live streaming this in the very early hours of the morning here, right as the sun is coming up. Oh, and there we are. Right as the sun is coming up. In fact, right before I went live, the sun was right on the ascendant, or just technically just past the ascendant, as I saw, since I'm always tracking the astrology as well. And that was, of course, at 7:32 a.m. Eastern Time. All right, so let us begin with your reading. For your current outside influences, the Eight of Swords. For the challenge card, the Queen of Wands reversed. For the underlying energy, the Three of Wands reversed. For the past and issues you've had to deal with, the Six of Swords. For what you hope to achieve, the Knight of Swords. For the near future, the Lovers. Oh, there you go. Valentine's Day. Interesting. For your attitude or position on the situation, Strength. For the outside force coming in, the Emperor. For your hopes or fears, the Ten of Pentacles. And a final outcome card of, oh wow, the Ace of Wands. Excellent. Okay, well, seems like a lot of signs have been having it a little bit rough this month, but you guys are in better condition. Still some, at least some challenges here, I suppose, but overall, you guys are in like much better condition. All right, so let's dive into this. So for your current outside influences, you did indeed get the Eight of Swords. So this is how you're beginning the month of February, and representing everything that is sort of happening right at the beginning of the month. And this card, it is true, can indicate feeling trapped, isolated, disconnected from your emotions. So there may be some challenges in that area. And I see some other indicators here coming up of like a desire to branch out slash break free and like move forward, but there being obstacles in your way currently. And we're going to get into more of that as this unfolds. But in addition to that, there's also a connection with the Eight of Swords, with the idea of arrogance and pride. And so if any of you feel like that applies to you early in this month, maybe might be something that you want to do some exploration around, like why are you feeling very prideful this time, or are you feeling too prideful? Are you feeling perhaps a bit arrogant, or is it for you really about this desire to break free, to move forward? There's also, whenever I get this card anyway and observe its various vibes and manifestations, like there seems to be this implication of a waiting period, a time of inward seeking, where you're blind to the external world purposefully, but so as to reconnect with your emotions or your personal truth or your true self, or whatever it happens to be, your integrity, your authenticity. And then once that reconnection has happened, once that reconnection has been made, then there is indeed the breakthrough, the breaking free, and the moving forward to the next area of life. So take that and do with it what you will, I suppose. For the challenge card, you got the Queen of Wands, and yes, it did come up reversed, but let's look at it upright. So the Queen of Wands, your challenge this month being to have the courage to do what you need to do. The idea of courage is very much connected with this card, and then it is wands, fire. Fire has to do with action and willpower, and so that is the doing, the courage to do what you need to do. This is also the watery aspect of fire, which is to say the emotional aspect of one's will or desire to act. And so cultivating a real feeling of enthusiasm, or in an even broader sense, a feeling of courage, or a feeling of a desire to do, a feeling of a desire to act, to take action, is your challenge this month, or at the very least, a big part of it. All right. For the underlying energy, everything forming a foundation for your current situation this month, it is the Three of Wands reversed. So let's talk for a moment about the Three of Wands upright. This card, when upright, talks about the idea of expanding into new territories, taking things from the planning stages and moving them into, or what's the word I'm looking for, like facilitating their expansion into new territories, into faraway places. Well, the reversal is, of course, indicating that that energy is blocked. So indeed, as I was saying earlier, many of you are wanting to move forward, it appears, this month, to move into something new, but you're just feeling kind of blocked about it right now, or something is blocking you. Now, specifically with this being the underlying energy, it's like saying that that which is supporting you is not helping you move forward into new areas, into the new areas you want to move into. That which is supporting you is itself blocked in some way from giving you the help in moving forward into these new areas, expanding into these new areas that you otherwise, or that it otherwise would be able to help you do. Does that make sense? I hope so. So that is part of the overall challenge there of moving on, moving forward, moving into the new, expanding into the new. there are blockages, but that is what we have. So for the past and issues you've had to deal with that then affect the present, we, of course, speaking of moving on, we have the Six of Swords, indicating this idea that, yes, indeed, many of you have had to move on from difficult situations in the recent or maybe not so recent past. Now, this could be a relationship, it could be a financial situation, it could be really any kind of life situation. In some cases, I almost want to say it may have more to do for many people with their health, with this being the sixth house of health and illness. But, this card, I see it manifesting in quite a few different areas of life. It's this idea, indeed, of moving on from a difficult situation. And thus we see the connection to your present situation this month, which is all about trying to keep moving forward, to not get sucked back into whatever this was moving on from. Now, in an entirely different sense, this card can sometimes indicate much more positively this idea of a scientific mind and what I have more and more often been calling a scientific optimism. This idea that, whatever problems we face, we can figure them out. There is a logical solution. We can use our technical skill, our scientific ability, our rational thinking to fix the problem, and we can move forward in the spirit of knowledge and precision and all of that kind of thing. And so for many of you, well, this is how I would see that manifesting into what we have currently. That perhaps if that sounds like you, like in the recent past, you have been feeling more of this sort of scientific optimism, as I'm calling it. What that is leading to with that Eight of Swords that we saw earlier for your current outside influences is a temporary state of like pause or reflection, a temporary state where maybe you're not moving forward anymore, but instead you're looking for something deeper, or you're reviewing what you have done thus far, and then you'll continue moving forward again eventually. So those are the two main possibilities I see in that area. For what you hope to achieve this month, speaking of scientific mind and scientific thinking, you have the Knight of Swords. Now, this is also like what you are reaching for, your highest hope, your highest goal, what is on your mind this month. The Knight of Swords, this sort of aggressive, intellectual energy, very much connected also to the energy of the planet Mercury. In fact, I was just doing some additional reading and studying on this card the other day, and I was surprised at just how similar its energy is to the energy of Mercury, all about movement, communication, intellect, that sort of thing. So indeed, when we take this card in context with the rest of your reading, I think what's happening for many of you this month is you are wanting to use your logical abilities, your ability to figure things out mentally to help you move forward with your life. That is what is showing up here in some very, very strong ways, I would say. And then that, of course, takes us also into the next card for the near future. The Lovers. The Lovers. This would represent about the first week or two of your month. This card is literally ruled by Mercury. And so we again see another connection with the intellect and communication, logical thinking, rational thinking, that sort of thing. So a couple different things with the Lovers. First of all, let us note that it is another 6, a second 6. You had the Six of Swords earlier, so that means your sixth house of health and illness is activated this month. And so expect your health to quite possibly be a significant factor this month, something that is activated. Now, the sixth house also deals with your schedule, your day-to-day activities, your subordinates, your work, especially monotonous work, and also the things that we have to do on a day-to-day basis just to keep everything sort of stable. Chores like cleaning and brushing our teeth and that sort of thing. But anyway, it's mainly having to do, I would say, sixth house issues with health versus illness and like your schedule, your day-to-day activities, that sort of thing. And so expect that to be activated in a more powerful way this month. And now the Lovers card itself can point to, well, beyond just the sort of obvious, oversimplified, surfacey meaning, I suppose, and what we do have Valentine's Day coming up this month of the Lovers, like a potential lover coming in if you're single, or if you are already partnered, then a deepening of a love relationship connection. We also have this idea of choices, making important choices. We have the idea of the intellect, again, with the Mercury stuff. We have the idea of precise thinking, analysis of things, discrimination, and a sort of penetrating insight into things. But let us get even more specific here with the Lovers card and what it really talks about on sort of the fool's journey or the hero's journey, the spiritual journey. The Lovers card is about coming to a choice where your morals/values are going to be tested. It is a choice you must make where you can either choose to have instant gratification now and negative consequences in the long run, or you can choose the better choice for the long run, though that then denies your gratification now. It's about making the right but more difficult choice. It is about making the moral but more difficult choice, the choice that you don't immediately want to make, but that you know that you have to make if you do the right thing. And so it's kind of like being tested, basically, with the Lovers card here. So that is likely a factor for many of you this month. However, that will all play out for each and every Aquarius individual out there as it will. Let us also note before we move on from this card that this is also a card very much connected to the idea of integration and or the reconciliation of opposing forces. And so the idea is this: when this card shows up, many times it is because there are two opposing forces in the situation that need to be reconciled. And so I would say, look at your life right now and throughout this month and try to identify what those opposing forces are that need to be reconciled. And then you can apply this more specifically to you. That's the interesting thing about doing a general reading like this. Yes, it's general, but we can structure it in such a way that you can apply it to the specifics of your life. Like I can, since I'm reading for all Aquarius people out there right now, I may not be able to tell you specifically what to look for in, or specifically like what is going on in your own life, because only you know that, but I can tell you specifically what kinds of things to look for so that you can identify that for yourself and get hopefully much more out of the reading. Anyway, for your attitude or position in the situation about halfway through the month, you got strength, the one and only strength. So this is how you're feeling about halfway through the month, this month, and just in general. First of all, let us note, speaking of numbers, that this is another 8. Earlier, you got the 8 of Swords. So your 8th house of business and other people's money is activated this month. The house of your partner's possessions, your partner's values. The house of deep, dark things, of deep, dark psychological things. Psychotherapy falls in the 8th house. The 8th house of secrets. It is literally the house of secrets. So it's a house where there's you'll find many of the sort of deep, dark things in life. That's how I have seen it many times. Deep, dark, like rather passionate things as well in many cases, but also indeed, it's very much a financial house. Um, the idea of like taxes and what's also the other one I'm looking for? Like like your partner's assets, but also this idea of inheritance as well. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, all this like financial and dark stuff is eighth house stuff, and so expect that area of your life to be activated in a more powerful way this month. You're going to be dealing with things in that area as well, in particular. Now, as for the strength card itself, here we are dealing with the idea of using one's mind to tame one's darker emotions, like anger or jealousy or whatever. Making peace with the situation through a sort of gentle faith in oneself, or a gentle understanding, like a gentle, compassionate understanding of oneself. I mean, the picture on the card is literally basically it. It really exemplifies the meaning of this card. Once you have it sort of put into those terms, you can then just look at the picture and know what I'm talking about here. So I would say when you're getting this for your attitude, your position in the situation this month, that many of you are feeling, or the majority of you, I would say, are feeling like, even though there may be some difficult things and maybe some difficult things surfacing within you, like that you have the faith in yourself and the ability to deal with things, that you have the belief in yourself that you can handle whatever happens, or handle whatever surfaces within you, or whatever. Like you have the strength of character to handle whatever life throws at you, and to not get sucked into the sort of deep, dark abyss of some of the darkest human emotions that we have, but instead to remain in an attitude of peace and understanding. So that's really good. And I'm also tempted to say, especially with the sun currently in Aquarius, and in Aquarius for most of this month until it moves into Pisces about 2/3 of the way through the month, and then the sun ruling that card, that there may be also this sense of feeling physically more energized this month, especially if you're an Aquarius rising and or just have a lot of Aquarius energy in your chart. The sun is in your first house now, and so you should literally be feeling quite vivified, unless there's other factors that would be sort of suppressing that. Generally speaking, you should be feeling pretty freaking energized, and happy birthday, by the way. That reminded me of Sun in Aquarius. Happy birthday for the Aquarius people who just had a birthday this month, or are having their birthdays this month. All right, so for the outside force coming in, you got the Emperor. So interesting stuff here indeed. This can manifest as a couple different things. First of all, this is someone or something coming at you. This is not you necessarily, like yourself, but something or someone else. This could be a very wise older man, usually, maybe a woman, but very often a sort of wise old man that gives you great counsel or very good advice, or helps you in some significant way with maybe business matters or life advice, something like that, something along those lines. However, it can also be a situation presenting itself to you that is one of the general energy of the Emperor. So great discipline and willpower, action, initiative, the desire to get things done, and get things done right here, right now. This card is ruled by the sign of Aries and the planet Mars. And so Mars all about that go-getter, action-oriented, and let's do it now, impulsive energy. And so, and of course, even this could manifest as a person who is like that as well. But it's interesting when we look earlier into your reading and we see how you're challenged this month seems to revolve around this idea of courage and bravery and cultivating the will to act in whatever way is necessary. This could be an indicator right here, the Emperor, that this is someone helping you. This is someone maybe inspiring you to have that courage and bravery to do what you need to do. So interesting stuff there indeed. For your hopes or fears, you got the 10 of Pentacles. So beautiful card, particularly when it's upright as it is in your reading. It's all about great success and manifestation, a life well lived, enjoying the fruits of one's labors and enjoying like having a healthy, happy family and all of this stuff. It's about the completion of a cycle in a very successful sort of celebratory way. And so this is your hopes or fears. And so, as you're going throughout your month and this month on this spiritual journey, as we all are on every month and all of the time, essentially, whether we realize it or not, there's this feeling or this idea sort of in the back of your mind, particularly this month, about the great success of it all. This shows that many of you are wanting / thinking about a lot the great success that you want to have one day, or maybe even hopefully in the near future, the great manifestation of your desires, and maybe the culmination, the successful culmination of one cycle and then the beginning of a new one. And so interesting stuff. Just the fact that that card is showing up, though, such a positive card, is a very good sign. All right, so speaking of all of this positive energy, how are you concluding this month of February? Well, it really couldn't get any better than this, in my opinion. This is just perfect for this reading. You got the Ace of Wands as the outcome card. Powerful new beginnings in the realm of action and willpower. Concentrated energy, vitality, initiative, new beginnings, seizing the day, brainstorming, pushing forward into the new, a sign to go for it, to take the reins, I suppose. So indeed, seeing that your challenge this month has to do with cultivating the desire / enthusiasm to take action, to take the initiative, to push forward into the new and all of this stuff. Are you going to meet that challenge? Well, this card tells us that you likely are. And so whatever you end up doing this month, it's likely going to push you into a new area, new territory, into things that you have perhaps never even seen before. Or at the very least, you're going to be filled with lots of fresh, new, vital energy and being very much ready to push forward into the new, make a new beginning, leave the past behind, and basically move on with your life into bigger and better, brighter areas. So there you have it, Aquarius. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe if you're not already, since I'm always streaming more astrology and tarot related content to my channel. Other than that, just thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a great month of February. It definitely looks like you will. And again, happy birthday to those Aquarius people out there whose birthday it is this month. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.